Honorable members, I suggest you go to church on Sunday and continue this discussion. I have apologies for lateness from the Honorable Member for St. George, and I believe the Honorable Member for City East. This Honorable House will now resume its sitting, and I acknowledge the Member for St. Peter.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this is easily the most important budget debate in our history as an independent nation. Because, Madam Speaker, this budget showcases, like never before, a defining moment, a very seminal moment in our economic and political affairs with severe life and death implications for the standard of living that we as a people have been accustomed to in this country, that we as a people have been proud of for the better part of the last 3 decades. This budget debate, therefore, Madam Speaker, is not about the carefully crafted graphs and charts, the figures that the Honorable Finance and Economy Minister used in his attempt to spin deception, Madam Speaker, into apparent truths. In his attempt to win votes in the New Year election. Nor is this budget debate about the normal, everyday, run-of-the-mill that this government is required to do, especially given the $400 million per year extra that this government now extracts from the people in unconscionable taxation. You see, Madam Speaker, this UPP election budget is very much about the upcoming general election. It is intended and it was purposely crafted as a platform to trick and to deceive, to hoodwink the voters of this country into giving the UPP a second chance to further ruin their lives. Madam Speaker, this vote-catching assault on the sensibilities of the citizenry of this country, Madam Speaker, are people who are suffering the terror of rising crime, the unimaginable burdens of high taxation, and an unbearable cost of living. This budget will be given the treatment that it deserves in the public interest. Because more than anything else, this budget debate provides the people of this country the long-awaited opportunity for their story of pain, their story of suffering, their story of regression under the UPP administration to capture the full glare of national attention through the representatives in Her Majesty's loyal opposition. And I take this opportunity to congratulate our esteemed leader of the opposition, the member for St. John City South, the Honorable Stedward Cutie Benjamin, and also my esteemed learned friend, the member for St. Philip's North, the Honorable Robin Yearwood, for their presentations in this August House, for their enlightenment in this August House. And we will then hear today from my learned friend, the member for St. John City West, the Honorable Gaston Brown. The point is, Madam Speaker, people are hurting in this country. They're afraid. They're afraid, Madam Speaker, of being robbed. They're afraid. Our women are afraid of being raped. They're afraid of being murdered. They're afraid to talk out. Never before in this country, Madam Speaker, there have been so much fear. Fear of the victimization that they will suffer at the hands, Madam Speaker, of this tyrannical, this dictatorial UPP administration. They are afraid. They are afraid of being hounded. Madam Speaker, they have less money to spend. Food is more expensive. Clothing is more expensive. Electricity is more expensive. Water is more expensive. Telephones are more expensive. Vehicles are more expensive. Petrol at the pumps is more expensive. Rent has become a major burden in this country. The monthly mortgage has become harder to meet. And every single week, Madam Speaker, people are losing their homes. Look in the newspapers and you see, every single day, the banks are auctioning people's properties. Never before, Madam Speaker, you have children going to sleep hungry in this country. It is true, it is a fact that commodity and energy prices have risen around the world. But the harsh reality is that nowhere else in the world has any government taken so much, squeezed so much of taxation from people, and so drastically reduced their spending money, their disposable income, at a time when the people need more of their own money to cope with the difficulties. Nowhere else in the world, Madam Speaker. It makes a complete mockery of good governance to insult the people of this country with the propaganda that they've spouted, that people are able to save more money, even though the UPP has increased their taxes, along with the cost of their food, their clothing, their shelter, their electricity, their petrol, their telephones. So who is saving all this money, Madam Speaker? Is it the people in Grays Farm and Green Bay? Is it the people in Point and Villa? Is it the people in Willikeels and Ganders and Seatons? Is it the people in Newfield? Or in Otters? Or in Johnson Village? Or in Clay Hall? Madam Speaker, is this the money saved by the big businesses? Who they are? Are these the millions stacked away by the privileged money class? Mr. Minister, let us have a breakdown of these big savings so we can know the real truth, category by category. And it matters not whether the statistics came from the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, the IMF, or the World Bank. The truth in these fundamental challenges of human survival has always been and remains with the reality of people's lives. The UPP is actually gloating over its grand 2009 budget theme, right track, right direction. The track, Madam Speaker, is high UPP government taxes, high cost of living, low spending money. The direction is unprecedented poverty. Poverty for the people. But the UPP election budget says, right track, right direction. Why change a thing when the people are heading for poverty like they've never seen before? The UPP ministers live well, while the voters of this country, Madam Speaker, they're catching hell. They drive around this country in their big SUVs, speaking to each other about the new houses or mansions that they've recently built, like the one in Guntrops, where there's not enough that is reinforced concrete, but is cladded with green art and purple art outside of the concrete. And a brand new concrete road adorns the driveway of